attached to people in strange ways, moved across cultural and political lines, traveled the world and reattached to others, certainly at whim and seemingly at random. Why didn't anybody else see how creepy last names were? They labeled a person as coming from a particular class or geographical area, or linked their identity to another person, as if someone's identity had no merit on its own unless it had latched on to another. Aryal refused to pick a last name for herself, as so many of the first immortal Weir chose to do, nor would she ever take anybody else's. Pia was her second hate. Earlier today, Aryal finally, grudgingly, painfully conceded she was going to have to let go of her snark over Pia. That was a bitter pill for her to shove down her own throat. It was sugar-coated by the most lethal weapon in Pia's armory to date, the unbelievable sweetness in her newborn son's face. After Pia and Dragos had gotten married, they had gone on their honeymoon, where she had given birth unexpectedly. Yesterday, she and Dragos cut short their trip to upstate New York to return to the city. When they had arrived back at the tower early last evening, everybody had to see, touch, hold, and/or coo over the baby. The other sentinels acted like Dragos had conquered all of Asia overnight, while Dragos radiated a ferocious pride. Almost 7 feet tall in his human form, with a massive, muscular body and a brutally handsome face, he would always carry in his demeanor a sharpness like a blade. But Aryal had to admit, she had never seen him look so happy. As for her, she refused to go anywhere near Pia and the Rugrat. She didn't want to have anything to do with them. Unfortunately, that hadn't lasted long. Less than 24 hours, to be exact. Earlier today, when she had charged around the hall corner outside of Dragos's offices, she nearly mowed down Pia, who pushed some kind of ambulatory, complicated-looking cart with the sleeping baby tucked inside of it. Pia looked tired. Her pretty, triangular face was paler than usual, and her ever-present blonde ponytail was slightly lopsided, with wisps of hair trailing at her temples. One of her new full-time bodyguards was with her. The mouthy woman, Eva. Eva thrust between Pia and Aryal, her bold features and black eyes insolent with hostility. She stood as tall as Aryal, a full 6 feet in flat boots, dark brown skin rippling over toned muscle. "You're a menace just walking down the hall," said Eva. "Do you know any speed other than one that might get someone hurt?" "You and me," Aryal told her on a surge of happiness. "We're gonna go someday." "Let's make that day today," said Eva. "We can go right down the hall to the training room, with or without weapons. You pick." "Lower your voices," Pia said irritably. "If you wake up the baby, I'll take you both down." Eva's expression softened as she looked at the occupant in the cart. Before she could stop herself, Aryal looked too, and found herself snared irretrievably. She was astonished at how tiny the baby was. His entire face, in fact most of his head, was smaller than the palm of her hand. He was wrapped tightly in a soft cloth. It looked restrictive and uncomfortable, but she knew absolutely nothing about babies, and he seemed content enough. Aryal sidled a step closer, her head angled as she stared. Eva made a move as if she would block Aryal, but Pia put a hand on her bodyguard's arm and stopped her. The sleeping baby carried a roar of power in his soft, delicate body. Aryal shook her head in wonder. She hadn't sensed any of it before now. How had Pia managed to conceal that much power when she had been pregnant? The baby opened his eyes. He looked so alive and innocent, and as peaceful as a miniature Buddha. He had dark violet eyes like his mother's. The color was so deep and pure it seemed to hold all the wildness and mystery of the night sky. Some vital organ in Aryal's chest constricted. Her hand crept out.